Brooke, I wanted to sort of touch on your trade from the Nets to the Lakers in a little bit. But during this run, did beating the Nets in the conference semifinals, did that mean anything extra to you? I think you're still the all-time leading scorer in franchise history. I have no idea if you were sort of blindsided by the trade or if you knew it was coming when you got traded to the Nets for Timothy Mozgov and D'Angelo Russell. But did it mean anything extra to you to beat them in the playoffs?
It was special for me. I enjoyed my time being in New Jersey and Brooklyn. I still have a few really good friends on that team. And it was an incredible, fun series. They had a lot of talented guys on that team. So it definitely was special playing them in the playoffs and beating them in the playoffs. In terms of being blindsided by the trade, it caught me a little off guard. It did. My agent had told me, you hear from the GMs and everything like that, oh no, we're not trading you. We want you to be around the young guys, blah, blah, blah. We want you in. But at the same time, my agent was like, I heard from, and I can't remember the exact teams. I heard from Charlotte. They were shopping you around, stuff like that. So I had a little bit of an idea. I was hopeful, but, I guess it was my first time being traded. So when, I still got that call, it did catch me off guard a little, but from the tone immediately, right? From the tone when you get the call, what's going down.
When you went to LA and subsequently your time in Milwaukee, it's really fascinating to me. This has been talked a lot on the interweb, on national broadcasts. This is something that's talked a lot about. And I wanted to get your perspective on this, but you essentially went from a low post, high usage player when you were in Brooklyn that drew a lot of fouls. And then you go to LA, your minutes go down. I think you averaged 23 minutes that year. And then you essentially changed your game, and you can still mash on the block still, but you essentially are a floor spacing five who does a bunch of things well. You're a great offensive rebounder, one of the best in the league, other than Robin. And I just the change is fascinating to me, and I'm very curious about that sort of transition year when you were in Los Angeles and you were changing roles, and then how that sort of helped you when you got to Milwaukee.
Yeah. That's, that bringing up that transition years. I think it's something I often overlook myself, and how important it was to me becoming the player that I am now. It was, I loved playing with the guys on my team. There were good guys in the coaching staff, great, organization, GMs, everything like that. But, it was a tough year for me personally, just because it was an adjustment. I was used to playing 40 minutes a game, and then going into the situation where it's, obviously they had tons of talented young guys. You look at their roster that year with Brandon, Julius, Zoe, Josh Hart, all these guys, and I'm JC. I could keep going. They had a lot of talented young guys, and these guys are successful in the league now. All-stars, sixth man of the year, stuff like that, everything like that. So it was an adjustment for me coming in, and not necessarily getting the minutes I was used to getting, and on top of that, it kind of, I guess, made me kind of figure out, what my role is with that team. And I had to find a way to transition my game to fit into that role and deal with that. It was the first time really, I guess, playing basketball that I dealt with a sort of adversity like that on a personal level. And so it was very good for me to experience that, and have to fight through that. And, I did learn to change my game, adjust to the new NBA, and get used to playing in a more supporting role than I normally have, which I think is something that has helped me in my time in Milwaukee. But again, like that year in LA, I had a great time playing with my teammates, playing with all those young guys I mentioned before, playing for Luke, Miles, Mad Dog, all those guys. It was a great year and a great experience.
Did you change anything technically about your shot?
I didn't going into that year. It was actually something, and I've said this before in other interviews, that Kenny Atkinson just wanted me to get up more threes in that system. He brought that system over from Atlanta, Bud system. He just wanted me to space the floor and shoot more threes. And so it wasn't really changing my shot. And I guess for me, especially coming to Milwaukee, where you mentioned, JJ, just playing, I guess, not necessarily less minutes in Milwaukee, but having the ball in your hands less, right? Having the ball in your hands less. And this is something you're one of the greatest ever at doing, JJ, is just being ready at all times to catch and shoot, regardless of the rhythm of the game, whether you're in a flow, whether you've gotten shots up or anything like that, just being ready to catch and shoot. That was the biggest adjustment for me, because growing up, high school level, college level, a lot of my years in the league, I'd always been able to just score on the low block, get a shot up, and if it didn't go in, all right, it's coming right back like the next play. But that was a big adjustment for me to learn to be ready in those moments when the ball would come to me. And that's obviously what's best for the team, to catch and shoot, regardless of how I've been playing.